If you think of Krishna, how to serve him, that is perfection of life. Because you will think at the time of death about Krishna. Ante Narayan Smriti, that is the perfection of life. Ante means at the time of death. If you remember Krishna, then your life is successful. On about Bhagavad Gita 16, 11, 12, uh, this is written in that verse of Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter. Just like you get infected by some disease, nature's law is that you must suffer that disease. Nobody has got to do anything. The nature's law is like that. If you take more food, you can digest, and immediately there will be the effect seen. This is nature's law. If you take more than you can digest, immediately there will be indigestion. Means you cannot digest so much food. That is the nature's law. If you touch fire, either you touch or either you touch knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will burn. The fire will not consider that uh, this person has mistakenly, touched, and so let me excuse. It will burn. That is nature's law. Similarly, the thoughts which you are maintaining during your lifetime, if that thought becomes prominent, naturally it becomes at the time of death, then you are going to get a similar body. If you are thinking like a demon, then you'll get the demon's body next life. And if you're thinking like a devotee, you will get your next life back to home, back to Godhead. This is nature's law. Therefore, if you practice instead of thinking like the demons, how to gratify senses, if you practice instead of thinking like the demons, how to gratify senses, that is the demonic thought. They are concerned with this body. If you think of Krishna, how to serve him, that is your perfection of life. Because at the time of death, you can think of Krishna, Ante Narayan Smriti, Srimad Bhagavatam 2.16. That is the perfection of life. And at the time of death, if you remember Krishna, your life is successful. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamaiti kaunteya. Bhagavad Gita 4.9. So we have to do like that, not like the asuras or demons. Thinking must be there. But if you think of this body, how to keep it very comfortably, enjoy the senses, how to have more money and have more men or women, how to see naked dance, how to do this, that, and then you are a demon. At the time of death, naturally, we shall think of that. It is again, then again, one will get the demonic life, animal life, or a tree life. What does a tree do? It is always standing in the sun. There are so many different forms of life. So this is our presence. Before us, there are so many examples. Now, if you get a life of a tree, what is a tree? Or what is it? Is the tree is not ashamed to stand in the sun, just like that. And for 10,000 years, you will have to stand as a tree. Where from this life comes? It requires thought. Why the world is not full of one kind of forms of life? Why there are different types of life? Because life, different desires are nature's law. Nature's law, there is no excuse. The same thing. If a child even touches fire, nature is not very merciful. The law is law. It must be executed. The result will be there. The child will burn. The fire will not distinguish whether that person, it was child, it was innocent, it didn't understand. And then there's a one grown up person, he also puts hand. Then the fire does not understand, discriminate between the child and the grown up. Both will burn their hands and put in the fire. Similarly, at the time of death, we have to think very rightly. That is required. That is human life. If you have to train yourself in such a way that at the time of death you will think of Krishna, and this is very much required. Some people say, isn't it a selfish thought? I will suffer my karma. So why should I keep this selfish thought that Krishna Smriti must come at that time? This is, you are a fool. What is this thinking like? This is the most a self-centered thought, they say. That why, let me die. Krishna, why do I need to explicitly remember Krishna? That is sakam, they say. But what will you do living Krishna if you forget him and die? Then what is the point in having such a death? So the whole life you must pray, Lord, that in whatever situation, good or bad, I must be able to serve you. That is the prayer of a sincere devotee, that he wants to serve the Lord in whatever situation. That's the right mood, that's the right way to pray, and not that at the time of death, I want to think about you. That there are many instances people have given that in the scriptures you can read. They have asked the Lord that at that what kind of death they want. Hiranyakashipu is there. He was a demon. What kind of death he did not want death. Then there are instances of devotees who ask the Lord that at the time of death he be there in front of his eyes. But the right way of prayer is that whether good or bad situation, any situation, I must be able to serve you to please you. So then there is a question of explicitly making an effort to remember the Lord. That is the uh, proper way of praying the Lord. So when you are accustomed to serving the Lord all the time, then such a such a problem will not arise at all. It will become a natural course, and in whatever situation, even if it is a demoniac situation where the demoniac uh, opposition is there, then also the person is thinking how to serve now. So then where is the question of fear of death at all? So that is the implied sense about here in this purport which Prabhupada has written in Bhagavatam. He has given so many purports. He has given about Bhagavad Gita also. So that is the um, way about training the mind at the time to think at the time of death. If you think about Krishna at the time of your death, then the examination is passed. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Bhagavad Gita 8.6. That Krishna bhavam immediately will take you to Krishna lok. So the mind is the basic principle of another form of body. So the mind must be trained to become Krishna conscious, Bhagwan, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. So bhajan kar sadhana kar mate jan le hai means you are doing everything in spiritual life, but everything will be examined at the time of death. How have you practiced your bhajan sadhana? That will be examined at the time of death. If at the time of death you remember Krishna, then that will be the examination. So we are chanting always Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So mm, the statement in Bhagavad Gita that the mental situation at the time of death is the basis of the next birth uh, uh, is in the Bhagavad Gita 8.6. So with this materialized senses, gross vision, we do not see how a person is dying and is being transformed to another body. The gross material scientists, because they cannot see with the eyes, they do not believe that there is soul and all that thing we know. But for a devotee, he has his very basis, his own identity. He does not forget his identity. So that is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. The devotee who practices his whole life, what is his dharma, then that becomes a natural course of conduct for him throughout the life. And where is the need to remember Lord separately and worry whether or not I will get the Lord's remembrance or not when required. Because he's been practicing, Krishna gives remembrance, Krishna gives forgetfulness. So when there is a forgetfulness, he is alert because he's practicing. So when he's forgetting Krishna, then he's thinking whether is it I am doing it or Krishna, is it Krishna's mercy. So forgetfulness not means does not mean that sense gratification. Forgetfulness means if you are serving in a one particular way and this could have been done better. And why didn't I do it? There are parameters to weigh it. Forgetfulness does not mean that you forget Krishna and get entangled in material world and do sense gratification and all sort of nonsense things and then say Krishna gives forgetfulness. That is stupid. Forgetfulness is in the context that you are serving the Lord and you feel that you couldn't serve Him a better way, and there was always a better way, but you served in a different way, and then you could just adjust it. That it means the Lord's desire. He gives forgetfulness. So that is okay, but not using Krishna to do sense gratification and say Krishna gives remembrance and forgetfulness. So at the time of death, If you have sincerely practiced, then you must have some smriti. You must get some smriti of the Lord at the time of death. And death is not the final moment where you leave the body and go to another life species according to your karma. Death is happening every moment. The change of body from one form to another is happening even in the day to day life. How is it that you call it? How is it? You are your body. You are changing from youth. You're passing the youth to the next phase. You become a mature after 5 years. Again, the youthfulness does not stay the same. Then you become 50 years of age. The body is reacting differently. So where is that youth gone? Where you were handsome, or where the girl thinks she was the most beautiful in the whole world or so. Where has that body gone with that beauty? Now the wrinkles are there on the body, and then the body is not so performing. The productivity is not that good. The energy has come down. So where has that youthful form gone? So this is death in a form. In a way, this is death too. Then the body becomes, and then at 50 again you are having some energy. You can work. Then after some time, when you are about to retire, then the body is totally gone for a it has totally gone, and you feel tired, you feel weakness and all that. So there is death happening every moment, even you're alive. Not that at the time of death, when the soul leaves the body, that is the death. That is the final form. That is, your whole life is examined at that time. But every day, the death is happening every day. So, remembering Krishna at the time of death is natural for a person who has been practicing it, and that is what is said in Bhagavad Gita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. It doesn't mean that whatever is the thought at the time of death. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam means that you have to be ready for that moment and do all good acts in your life. And about for a Krishna Bhakta, what is it that he has to serve the Lord in the selfless way. So if he is in that bhav that my whole life is for the Lord, then at the time of death there is a different. The Lord will take care. There's even if there's a mistake and he misses that to serve, the Lord will help him and take him from that level to the next life, where again he'll be given a chance to do devotion if it is incomplete, or if it is complete, then he gets to serve the Lord directly. So that is the way to understand that this Bhagavad Gita shlok, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Bhagavad Gita